Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Good morning, everybody. All right, listen, the royals are still on vacation. People are like, what about this one? What about that one? They're still on vacation. So all I can do at this point is talk about the mishmash of stories that have come out, and there is a lot, okay? So that's what we're going to do today. So this is going to be a much shorter video than usual. I hope you guys are okay with that. And I got to be honest, I don't know if you're going to get a video tomorrow, and I'll explain that in just a second, okay? In the meantime, let's jump in with what we've got. Let's go. To start off with our lovely photos, this photo was placed on Twitter by somebody named Petrosoni Diana. I'd love to just walk there. Next up, we have photos of Ross Lake taken by my follower, Roma Robbins. Next up, we have two photos of sunsets in Calgary sent to me by my follower, Jackie. Fabulous. This is the picture of the countryside in Yorkshire sent by my follower, Dawn. We have Stonehenge by my follower, Diana. Diana also sent me this one. Is that not absolutely amazing? Like, I just love that. That's so quintessential, England. We have a sunrise from Australia sent in by Liam. And finally, just a little change of pace. This is a staircase that was designed by Leonardo da Vinci that was sent to me by my follower, Sarah. Isn't that just the coolest? I love that. We are starting off today with an unusual article because the gentleman who did Diana's wedding dress, David Emanuel, in 1981 suddenly appeared on GB News and said that Harry and Meghan were essentially damaging the royal family with their ongoing PR stunts, which I completely agree. Now, he said, she messed up her own family. Now she's messing up, the royal family. And when they asked her what she thought of Meghan, he goes, you mean that American woman? He said, we've got Prince William doing a great job. We've got Harry in America with an American woman who is driving everybody nuts. He said she messed up her own family, and now she's over here trying to mess up the royal family. And he said the whole thing is shocking. I completely agree. Now, previously, he said that he was disappointed in Meghan's wedding dress, that it looked like she was in a nurse's uniform. A lot of people have criticized it. Apparently, she kept changing her mind on what she wanted, and that's why the dress came out the way it did. And he also said that she was channeling Wallace Simpson, which is something a lot of us have said previously in the past. All right, the stories are coming out now that Charles has frozen out Harry and Meghan after the interview with the cut and all the things that Meghan said, including the fact that she says she never signed an NDA. So apparently they were hoping to have a meeting, but then Charles put the brakes on the meeting until what came out in the book, until they saw what was in Harry's book. And now, of course, they're not releasing the book just yet. And now, Meghan's threatening to release further secrets and doing interviews, saying, I haven't signed anything. So at this point, Charles, I guess, has decided he's had enough. He's frozen them out. He's not meeting with them. And they're being pushed to the side. And, hey, that's what they get. Now, talking about fathers and their children, Thomas Markle came out and pointed out after Meghan said she lost her father. He said, she didn't lose me. She dumped me. And he's right. He's absolutely right. He's alive and well. She could go visit him at any time, but she doesn't want to. Thomas came out and said, I'm not lost. She knows where to find me. My number hasn't changed. I would love to hear from my daughter. I would love to meet my son-in-law. I'd love to meet my grandchildren. And, here she is saying in the interview that it takes a lot more energy to not forgive, but it takes a lot of effort to forgive. Blah, blah, blah. And Mr. Markle says his daughter is all talk, no action. If she really believes in forgiveness, why can't she forgive me? Good point. He says, I've apologized multiple times for hurt and pain I might have caused her. I love my daughter. She talks about forgiveness. Why isn't she starting with her own family? And every time she gives another interview, it brings up all the pain and causes stress. He pointed out he's still sick. He's still doing speech therapy, which he is. He's doing the best he can do to get better. And she's had nothing to do with him. I completely agree. I completely agree with what he said. He's not lost. He was dumped. Now, with all of this going on, the stories are coming out now that Meghan and Harry, the Queen, is being encouraged to strip Meghan and Harry of their royal titles. Now, Duncan Larcombe was on Britain News Channel, and he was saying that it's probably going to happen as soon as Harry's memoir comes out. The Queen doesn't know what's in the memoir, but apparently the whole family realized that they're just going to keep bleeding on about the royal family, and yet they're making their money off the royal family, and they've all pretty much said, we've had enough. So, that could happen sooner rather than later. All right, this next story, here we go. The Invictus Games income fell last year from 1.77 million to 1.24 million. And that was even after the charity got 40% of its fee from Netflix, The Heart of Invictus. There you go, the upcoming documentary. I guess Invictus Games, people don't like the way Invictus Games was using to line Harry's pockets. Now, of course, the Invictus Games spokesman said that the income is down because the charity benefited that year from a transfer of £561,000 after Harry and Meghan left the Royal Foundation. Now, of course, the Royal Foundation's money has gone up through the frickin' roof since Harry and Meghan left, which I find very interesting. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. Now, I have absolutely no doubt if Harry takes his hand off of this, that the money will suddenly come in again, because people are upset over the way this is, the Heart of Invictus is being used to line Harry's pockets. People don't like it. All right, moving on. Now, maybe because of what's going on, this next story is happening because he's going to have a post-Megxit press conference at the Invictus Games event in Germany, but he's already said he will not answer any questions after Meghan let off this new round of transatlantic truth bombs. Well, here we go. It looks like Oprah is involved with Meghan's Spotify content. Very interesting. This came from Morsi. I don't think I'm saying that right, but as you can see, Terry Wood, who produced Prince Harry's mental health documentary, The Me You Can't See, remember that one? Here you go. Yep, there you go. So Oprah's still helping them behind the scenes, even after she was made to look like a fool. All right, moving on. All right. I took another look at this video because it's all over Twitter again. Now, when Meghan was dating Harry, she went to go watch Harry play polo, and she was rummaging through his car. And at first, I thought the video was running backwards because of the way she stepped back when somebody caught her rummaging through the car. Let me explain. Watch this. So here she is. She goes to the car. And like I said, at first I thought that this was being run backwards, but as you can see, this guy is walking straight up to her and is saying, "What are you doing?" And she's giving him some excuse, and then she backs up behind the curtain so that she's not on camera. And then she does it again. She's digging in the car, and then she backs up behind the camera. Is that not the weirdest thing that you've ever seen? She keeps backing up behind the camera like she's looking for people watching her. Very odd. All right, this is just to show you that what I said about Spotify manipulating the numbers to try to make Meghan's podcast look better because they need the clicks because they've invested money and they've probably lost their money. There you go. Despite their episode listing, the figures put her no higher than 5th and listed at number 25. So why are they constantly saying she's number 1? Just like when I showed you those figures before where Meghan had 14,000 views and Joe Rogan had 425,000 views, and they claimed that her podcast came in ahead of his. Pretty obvious it didn't. Like, what's going on here? Going back to the whole Oprah thing, you would think that Oprah would have learned her lesson, but no. And I'm glad that stars like Britney Spears have cottoned on to what's going on, because apparently Britney was offered a lot of money to sit down and give an interview to Oprah. And Oprah, offered her millions just like she did everybody else. And Britney said, no, thank you. Way to go, Britney. All right, the stories are starting to come out that it's pretty obvious the Queen, while she mentally is sharp as a tack, physically she's continuing to, she's declining. And the reason we're saying that is because she's missing more and more royal duties. And people are saying it's time for her to step back and let Charles take over, which up until now, Charles has essentially been running things anyway. But how sad is that? All right, moving on. All right, next up, Meghan and Harry finally they're back in the UK. Now, the word out is that they flew in commercial, but I think we all know if they flew commercial, there'd be photos, all right? We all know this. And of course, they didn't bring the kids because they consider this work, not family connections. More like the family doesn't want to see them. All right, moving on. FYI, I just wanted to show you these pictures because let's not forget that Frogmore was supposedly so small they couldn't stand up in it. All right, moving on. All right, let's move on now. Charles and Camilla, known as the Duke and Duchess of Rothesay, I hope I'm saying that right, are in Scotland. They've arrived for the games. Charles is standing in for the Queen. She's having continuing mobility issues and she was unable to attend. So, Charles and Camilla arrived by car. Here's a little snippet for you.
The Vice President of the Braemar Royal Highland Society, both the Royal Highnesses, the Duke and Duchess of Rothesay, coming forward now. Can I ask you?
They walked up and cut the rope, which I believe is the official start. Here, watch this.
Archway. I think we have it there. 1, 2, 3. Yes, come on. Let's give up a round of applause and a wonderful cheer to the Royal Highnesses for opening the new Queen Elizabeth II Platinum Jubilee Archway.
Way to go, Charles. All right. So when that was over, and look how happy they look. Okay, I just have to comment. Sorry. Look how happy they look. And notice, by the way, that they're under the Platinum Jubilee Archway. All right, let's get back. I digress. Then they got back in the car and they were taken to the area where the games were going to be played. Watch this.
Let's give a special welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome today the Royal Highnesses.
They then sat down to watch the games. Now, I want you to know that since this was going on, I had been looking for Johnny Thompson. We know he was there. He had to have been there somewhere. But try as hard as I might and look as hard as I did, unfortunately, I did not spot a picture of him. Yes, I'm sad, just like I know you guys are sad as well. But anyway, you can still look at the pictures and see that the games went off well. Everybody had a good time. Yeah, those guys aren't bad looking either. Okay. At one point during the day, Camilla and Anne gave Heather posies to some children. Now, upon looking at these photos, I just want to, point something out. I think it's fabulous that after all these years, Charles and Anne have such a loving, warm, close sibling relationship. I know that if Charles needed to lean on somebody, if he needed to go to Anne for assistance, whether it be, I don't know, once he becomes king, whether it has something to do with Harry, whatever it is, you can just tell that their relationship is very close and very loving. Now, with all of that said, I'd like to point out that the Princess Royal looked absolutely fabulous today. She was rocking that red hat. I loved her outfit. Yep. All right, you guys. Now, the reason that I was saying to you that you may not get a podcast tomorrow from me is because we're in the middle of moving furniture. We spent the whole day today loading up a U-Haul, moving it over, coming back, loading it up again, going back. I'm shocked that I'm putting one out even today. We're both exhausted. We hurt. We're both in hot. We're both like in pain, like a lot of pain. So I just don't know if you're going to get one. So I don't want you to be shocked if Sunday comes and there's not a video from me, okay? I would love to tell you for sure if there is or isn't one, but I just can't. So anyway, be on the lookout, okay? So leave those comments below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you've already hit the button, double check and make sure you're still subscribed. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter, Getter, Rumble. You can email me. For those of you who have donated to my coffee fund and through the thanks button, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.